If I told you there was an alien that combined Hulk Hogan, Wolverine, and a tiger, would you believe me that it turned out to be a good idea? It's absolutely crazy how Wrath works as an alien. Now, we've had some strange ones so far, from living batteries, a walking tokusatsu reference, to a literal mummy. Just a mummy. But somehow, Wrath just seems like the strangest of them all so far, and yet everybody loves him. His concept seems like someone just took a bunch of random traits and shuffled them into the Omnitrix. So let me tell you something, Ben 10 Breakdown viewers. To this day, I'm still impressed by the across-the-board praise that Wrath gets. Back during my classic reviews, Accelerate was the one who dominated everyone's top 5 alien lists, but that all changed when one particular orange feline terrestrial entered the scene. He was one of the lucky ones to get some extensive world building in both Omniverse and the reboot continuity. He gets a pretty fair amount of screen time overall, and multiple episodes where he's a central focus. The cast and crew of the shows are huge supporters of Wrath too.
Favorite alien, and can you do an impression of that alien?
Ashley's favorite alien is all of our favorite aliens.
Yeah, Wrath.
Last year you said, I think, Wrath was your favorite alien transformation.
I think it's still Wrath.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
Even the characters in universe couldn't help but admire Wrath.
You know, Wrath is the only alien that makes me want to get a box of popcorn, kick back, and just watch.
Okay, me too.
But his most defining trait is his signature catchphrase.
Let me tell you something, Manny Armstrong. Let me tell you something, stupid Wrath-sized hole. Let me tell you something, Gwen Tennyson. Let me tell you something, custom-made Tekkadon robot designed specifically to destroy me. Let me tell you something, new alien partner that I never wanted in the first place, but I'm begrudgingly beginning to like, in spite of myself.
UAF showrunner Dwayne McDuffie is the one who gave Wrath his unique personality, and modeled his catchphrase after 80s wrestler Hulk Hogan's iconic rants.
You know something, Sergeant Slaughter? You know something, multi-million-dollar man? You know something, Mean Gene? Well, let me tell you something. Well, let me tell you something, brother.
The phrase is even like a genetic urge, too, and even Apoplexians that aren't Ben have said it.
Let me tell you something, Phil Cox. Let me tell you something, Ben Tennyson. Let me tell you something, KTF of the Woda. Let me tell you something.
His powers, however, seem to take after Wolverine, with his sharp, extendable blades coming from his knuckles, his near indestructibility, and his brutal, raging fighting style. Of course, some Hogan wrestling makes his way into his fighting style, too.
Antarian armbar! Ophiuchus face plant!
Ever since switching to shorter breakdowns to streamline the process, Con of Wrath was the #1 most requested episode to receive a full breakdown. And while I'll admit, I didn't plan to, and I don't want voting to be the logistical sway of which episodes get full breakdowns, but I just couldn't ignore the massive support for the angry cereal mascot himself. So let's take a look at where Wrath's wrathful and radical reign rapidly reached rare-ranging rejoice, reaching round the radio waves. But first, if this is your first breakdown and you're curious about how my ratings work, there's a detailed description down below, along with a link to all of my previous breakdowns, but by all means watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. The only update that I have today is if you live in the New England area, I'm doing a lot of festivals and events, and you can check the ever-growing list over on my website, also linked down below, and stop on by and maybe get a drawing. Len Uli returns to write Con of Wrath, which first aired January 8th, 2010, the first new episode of that year. A group of Luodans call upon the trio to deliver their baby as a peace offering between them and the Pantophage. Believing Ben's heroics is the only one who can successfully do the job, the trio take on the challenge, but soon find Ben locked in a mysterious new form, who seems to be nothing but a walking rage machine. As they travel the galaxy trying to get this baby to its destination, they run into a lot of old faces who also want a piece of the pie. Grumpy Gwen. This is Gwen's third beach attire that she's had in the series.
People have multiple bathing suits. You gotta be all stylish and stuff.
No, I like it. I like pointing out whenever characters have multiple outfits in animation. It was a lot less common during this era, so I appreciate it when it happens.
Hurry up! Get a move on, Kevin!
She's one of those people that really needs her vacation times.
The shit she has to go through, like, it makes sense.
Yeah. Once we get to It's Not Easy Being Gwen, we're gonna totally understand where this is coming from.
I've been trying to go to the beach for a month, and every time we're about to leave, something happens.
They were last at the beach in, what was it, In Charm's Way, so this episode takes place a month after that episode. I would say Alien Force is probably like a good, 6 to 8 months long. It'd be nice to see, the environment reflect on the passage of time, though. You know, like eventually start seeing some fall leaves and stuff.
We could have gotten an actual Christmas episode of Ben 10.
Yeah, right? Oh, right, the Llewellyn's.
I am Ambassador Zarvinal.
That's definitely D. Bradley Baker.
You can recognize his voice anywhere, man.
Oh, yeah. I can, like, recognize his breath. I know my D.
We are seeking Ben Tennyson.
Did they float in Omniverse?
I don't... Oh, God, actually, I'm trying to remember now.
I'm gonna look it up.
That's because I saved the whole entire universe.
I'm sure there's just really good delivery men out there.
They're doing this to avoid a war. It kind of makes sense. They would want to be like, oh, let's get a superhero to do it. But, like, I also distinctly remember them just kind of showing up at the Panthephage planet at the end. Like, they could have went there themselves, no problem.
Oh, true. Yup. All right.
A lot of episodes in this season, at least, are kind of just like, here's a plot. Does it need to happen? Not really, but it's fun.
Facts.
Oh my God, wait a second. I just realized. Egg.
Yeah, they got a big
This
old
is the
egg
one
there.
breakdown episode I get to do it, because there is an egg on screen.
There's an egg right here. I love the face shape of this guy, too. Kind of has the same face as, like, that guy from the Perplexohedron episode. At least, like, with the facial tentacle things, but I like his design. That's adorable.
You'll find it so weird how much I fucking love this theme song.
I know, right? It goes hard, dude.
The Tiffin, our crown prince.
So, towards the end of the episode, when you find out that these things are edible, are they still edible as adults? Or do they, like, grow out of it somehow?
I mean, I think everything is edible if you try hard enough.
Carnivores. Forgot all about that.
I would assume when they're infants, they have some kind of, like, chemical or something in them that it helps with their maturing process. That is probably what's in them that has, like, the amazing taste that everyone likes.
Like fetus blood?
Ew.
Hey, it's Jared. Jared's the one who's doing it, not me.
I am Cicely, she who bore him.
That's Ashley Johnson.
I never noticed that.
To demonstrate our sincere desire for peace with the Panthephage.
Very interesting that the lightning isn't green. I don't think it means anything, but it's just, you know, usually when it's Omnitrix, it's green.
Why does the Tiffin affect the Omnitrix? I don't think it ever even says.
Can you imagine if, like, one of Ben's villains has, like, the Wall of Mortys, but with Tiffins, and it makes, like, his whole fortress Omnitrix proof?
I always assumed that because we get Wrath from the Tiffin, and then we see that later on that Llewellyn's and Apoplexians have history, that it's either one, somehow the Omnitrix is picking up the fact that there is, like, a weird relation between Llewellyn's and Apoplexians, or alternatively, the Tiffin gets close to the Omnitrix and the Apoplexian DNA inside just gets so fucking pissed off.
That first exclamation makes sense to me. I like to think that Wildvine was unlocked when Ben encountered the Mycelium for that exact reason.
Anything wrong?
No, I'm good.
This credit cube is for your expenses.
Kevin's like, hell yeah.
They don't have any spending limit.
If they don't have any spending limit, then how do people account for its worth? Do you get to trade, like, one thing? Or do you just show that you have it and you just get whatever you want forever?
Also, does it translate into, like, the same currency as Tayden? At this point in the series, we don't know, like, currency-wise what is used universally.
Yeah, we got Taydens, we got credit cubes, and I'm pretty sure there's just regular credit, unless I'm thinking of a different series.
How are we supposed to get the Tiffin where he needs to go?
It looks pretty beat up for people that are rich enough to afford a credit cube.
It's just to show that this whole episode is meant to be sus.
Yeah. Also, they got the ship, they got the money, they could definitely just do this themselves.
They just don't want to.
Yeah, they're like, let's just, you know, make somebody else do it.
You're talking about yourself in the third person now?
After all, Ben Tennyson did save the whole...
You know what?
Yeah, this is definitely written like some of the earlier episodes. They kind of stopped doing super large ego for a bit, and now that they're bringing it back, it's starting to seed the inconsistency that spreads throughout the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, it gets a bit annoying.
Yeah, but only periodically, which is somehow even more annoying.
Yeah, no, if you're gonna do it, just fucking do it.
And you think it's right to use a baby to seal a peace treaty?
What's the diff?
Evan just really does not give a fuck about stuff sometimes.
Nope. Oh, here he comes. New alien and instantly has a name. He is jacked, man. I also love whenever they give the characters these big knuckles. Just tickles my fancy the right way. Damn, son. I love that little effect ripple for when he roars. He's roaring so hard he's shuddering.
Let's go! Did I just use up all my air?
That is so useful though. Sometimes she can like pause time and other times, you know, the infamous welding torch scene.
Calm down, Ben. You've become something called an Appleplexian. We looked it up in the ALDB.
Watch that never come back.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Because, like, even there's that Nancy Chan episode where he's just, like, the size of Humongousaur.
Yeah, that episode specifically, he was, like, gigantic. And then sometimes I feel like he's, like, relatively the same size as Kevin. Maybe just, like, slightly taller. But this right here, this is a good size for Wrath.
Get back to normal?
Okay, but not because you told me to. What?
How many times has Ben been stuck as an alien? There was the Gray Matter episode, the Big Chill episode.
Technically, the Ghost Freak, Ghost Town that we did, he was stuck as a scare, kind
Yeah,
of.
he has been forcibly transformed into Ghost Freak twice, but it wasn't quite like a whole episode sort of deal.
Anybody hungry?
I remember seeing this in a Volcanus episode.
I like this, the fact that this is CG, and it's got like that slight turn. We get a lot of different aliens in here, like this one and this one were from the
Null Void.
The Null Void episode. Yep. I can't remember specifically, but he just looks like a Tom Perkins classic series type of dude.
The guy in the back just has a whip for an arm.
Yeah. This guy is another one of the tick worshiper species. This species shows up a lot, like more than you would think.
Oh, wait, what is that? That's like a centaur dragon thing. That's cool.
I love the design of this guy. He looks like a classic series model.
Various species I just wish we saw more of sometimes. Whenever we have stuff with like really weird anatomy like this everywhere else in the universe.
No, I totally agree. Like these three aliens right here have a lot more like diverse designs than most of the UAF aliens we see. So I spent more time looking for those than I'd like to admit, but upon doing so, I also noticed the same 10 or 15 aliens from Soto are also the same batch that appear throughout UAF. Like, it's all the same guys who appear here at the Space Cafe that also appear in Norion Bar's A Cage. They're also sent into the Null Void and voided, but then later on end up outside Mr. Bauman's shop in The Purge. Once you notice them, it's fun to recognize them. Does this place have a name?
No.
I like how this place has a color palette change, too.
It's like a nightclub, kinda.
Yeah.
What do you know? Argent.
Wasn't like one of the last times they saw each other was when Argent like completely fucked him over?
Kevin fucked Argent over because he stole all his money.
So before Simple, wasn't the last thing that they met each other was Kevin's big score?
Yep, this is his third appearance.
Such a toxic friendship with them.
It's certainly interesting. I don't agree with your lifestyle choices, Kevin, but I gotta say, you're never boring.
You look different. Did you get a haircut?
He also said the same thing in Simple.
Long time no see. You look different. Did you cut your hair? We are on a mission to deliver some major cargo. I can't cut you in on this one, though.
So don't tell him.
Why would you tell him about that? He's a con man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know I owe you. Got a tip that'll make it square again.
Just got the Vreedles last episode in a busy box.
I like them more in UAF. Decagon is much funnier. With the very smart, intelligent words, but then...
Which one's Decagon?
What? Short, skinny one, and then Void is the big boy.
I'm just fucking with you. His name's Octagon.
Wait, did I say no? Fuck.
Ash is not a true fan.
The Vreedles?
We saw you two go up in an explosion.
That happened at the end of Busy Box.
We're what you might call clones.
Our folks used a home kit to make us.
Did they do that just to give an excuse as to why the Vreedles are here again? Or did they actually, like, let's make it their clones and this little backstory for them?
I want to say it was intentional because of the proximity these episodes were created. So they probably had that as a gateway so that they can practically kill off the Vreedles in future episodes and not have to worry about not using them again.
Now hand over the Tiffin so's we can hold him for ransom.
Not gonna happen.
I like the weapons that they have too. I remember this one actually shows up in a couple other appearances as well, but I believe it was Rhomboid who holds this one usually. Actually, both Octagon and Boyd have used this gun before, each in different episodes. The Plumbers also frequently use this gun in UAF, including Max himself in Vengeance of Vilgax Part 2, except the Plumber version has a different shaped nozzle. The Vreedles one sticks out, where the Plumbers have a long oval hole. This is also the version I had Crunch use in Chapter 5 of 5YL. This one I don't think we've seen yet, or if we have, it's like not memorable.
I think we should give him the Tiffin.
Let me tell you something, Kevin Lennon. Nobody's giving nobody nothing.
That's the first let me tell you something, isn't it?
Oh god, and I fucking interrupted it by saying carrots. God damn it. I'm sorry.
He does have himself a nice plate of carrots right here.
1,000 credits to anybody what joins up with us.
Vreedles must be loaded.
Oh wait, was that Xylene species?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, it looks like
it's a recolored Lenopen, I think.
I think the way they recolored it, they didn't want it to be a Lenopen, but yeah,
that's cool though.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've seen this gun before too. Is this the gun that Carl had I don't know. I just
Yes, it's just not green. Also another tick worshiper.
Oh yeah,
but red.
Yeah, the Hammer Man. Bar fight. He's holding the plate of food too. Oh man, you're not supposed to shake babies.
It's okay.
Let me tell you something off the guardrail.
Ooh, nice kick.
It's gonna hurt, I suspect.
Well, that didn't.
Out the airlock.
He just straight up murdered them again.
Yeah, that's 2 Vreedle clones that have now been killed off.
Jesus Christ, that's gonna hurt, I suspect.
Come on!
Why is everyone else fighting each other?
Oh, you know.
Bar fight.
Yeah, they're probably all drunk. Oh, now this thing is facing a different way than when we first saw it, so this is always spinning. What?
I love that sound he made.
What if he's stuck like this forever?
Bad guy number 2.
Oh my god.
This is Commander Sangfroid.
In French, Sangfroid means cold-blooded. So, little trivia fact for you there.
Oh. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you and steal the baby.
I think this is the only time we see another like incursion in high power outside of the Milius Atea family.
We incursions love war. This peace mission you're on, we're against it.
That's... So they have nothing to do with the Pantophage or the Luodans.
They just want to see it.
Yeah, they have no business and no stakes in this war. They just want it to continue. What an asshole.
Let me tell you something, Incursion Commander Sangfroid. I'm coming over!
You're gonna need a spacesuit.
Whatever!
So he can survive in space. That's something. Yet he needs air.
Maybe he held his breath.
All right.
I beat up everybody on the ship but you!
Ribbit.
Ribbit? He definitely tried to say the fuck word.
I talked to them.
You killed them, Ben.
Those lasers are coming out of nowhere. They don't even care enough to draw guns.
Tiny guns. Tiny microscopic guns. They got a bunch of nanomechs just taped to the outside.
Yeah, right.
I'm putting us in high gear. Black hole.
I just want to point out, whenever someone tries to argue black hole logic in Ben 10, this happens. So it doesn't fucking matter. Like, a black hole's a black hole.
Avoid it, essentially.
Yeah.
Also, is this a 3D?
Yeah, this is definitely a CG render. I do like how they have the stars swirling into it, though, because black holes do affect light, so, you know, they do have that going for it. But, I mean, there's no way they're just flying away from it like that. That's some straight BS.
Wait. Take a screenshot of that. That has to be a new emote on the Discord.
Alright, I gotcha. By the time this breakdown comes out, this will be an emote. It looks like it's not just a motion blur too, like they did do some
hatching. Yeah, no, I like this effect a lot.
Combining the traditional and the digital effect is pretty useful instead of doing one or the other. I do that a lot in 5YL as well. Shameless plug. Oh, that's why we never see them again.
Oh yeah, no. So you see the cutting into the image. That implies they got torn apart.
I do like how, even though it's heavily distorted, you do see his full body, like his feet and everything. And they're not just taking the animation frame and having it sucked in. This also looks like a combination of traditional and digital effects. I love that.
That's weird.
What is your problem?
That's how Bruce wakes me up every morning. Like, if she wants attention, she'll just come in and start, like, smacking at my nose. It's cute, but it's like sometimes I'm like, for fuck's sake, Bruce, I'm trying to sleep here.
What?
He hides it. This poor baby.
That black hole stunt Kevin pulled damaged the engine.
Found a planet with exactly what I need to get us going again.
Tadenite?
He just knows where there's a planet like full of Tadenite.
I guess so. Yeah, there's a lot of random shit that happens in this episode, and this is definitely one of the biggest things. Also, you remember who's on this planet?
I do, but before that, I'm mad that this is a thing. Just a planet with Tadenite on it. Tadenite growing out of the ground somewhere.
Do you think Volcanus somehow planted these, or this is just natural? Because if this shit existed, then Kevin's big scourge is just like out the window. Like, Volcanus did not need Kevin. This whole episode's a fucking mess. Like, people like it because of Wrath, and I get that, but like, if you
take... It's a fun episode.
This is one bullshit thing after another.
I mean, yeah, we've gotten fucking Argit, Vreedles, Incursions, and about to have Volcanus.
Yeah.
Like, it's some of my favorite villains, at least.
No, it's
like,
fun,
they're
and it's
funny.
like, it's great, but it's also like, You know, I'll save this for my rating section.
Every time you mention Tatanite, Volcana shows up.
You're exaggerating.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Kill them!
Another prominent John DiMaggio character.
Is that you, Tennyson? Yeah. So?
I do like how he tries to do slightly different voices for Volcanus and Wrath, and John does have a lot of range, but these are two very, like, growly, angry characters, so you can only separate them so much.
They're also both orange.
I never really got the claw growing because it's already out there.
It's Wolverine type thing.
Yeah, it should have been like completely inside of him and he can make them grow out like this. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. He hasn't really used his claws that much in this episode yet either, but they're probably just still getting used to writing the character that it's not on their minds.
Let me tell you something, Volcanus!
Let me handle this.
Let me tell you something, Kevin Levin.
Do a
Fuck you!
negotiation? Willing to pay for what I need? Say 10 times the going rate?
Considering that we're on my territory, and there's nowhere for you to escape.
Wrath alone could probably take all of them, so Volcanus is straight bluffing right now.
I'm gonna call you Baby Man, Baby Man!
Wait, so do they need the Tatanite to repair the engines?
Yes, that's why they're there.
How the fuck does that work?
Before, I would have said Kevin probably could, like, absorb and, like, shapeshift it into whatever they need. I don't think he can do that in his Mineral Man form, so, like, I don't know. Like you said earlier, there's just a lot of random bullshit happening in this episode.
Ooh, that's cool.
This is negotiating!
I half expected him to, like, bite off somebody's head, but then I remembered, like, you know, they can't show that. That'd be fucking wild, though, if he's just like...
That would be...
I'm hungry, waiting to eat!
Oh, shit.
That's a one-off ability for him. That was cool.
There they are.
Planet.
Alright, so I like how the stars have depth, like they're not just like one thing, but actually for this specific angle, they shouldn't be moving like this. Do you think the baby knows it's gonna die?
All relax.
I'm sorry, I couldn't answer because that was adorable as fuck.
My dear Tiffin, please do not give my son to the
We
Pantophage.
didn't ask for this job, now we gotta finish it!
No.
They're still landing?
Legitimately. Ooh, colorful.
Yeah, it looks like a cake.
Oh, honestly, it's very cool landscape.
Kind of reminds me of like the dessert world in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I am Jarrett.
Jarrett's always been giant to me, but then I noticed these things are pretty giant too.
Who voices Jarrett?
Jarrett, I'm pretty sure, is also John.
Really?
Let me check. Oh no, it's Alexander Polinsky, the voice of Argit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I gotta hear that again.
I am Jarrett, king of the Pantophage.
I don't hear it at all. I would have never known.
Not at all. That is a great range for him, dude. Oh.
Sorry, little guy.
Schloppity schlop.
Lovely.
Okay. Okay. No, real quick. You don't just do that. The way it's animated is so, like, I don't want to use the word casual.
It's so quick too. Look at his friggin' mouth.
It's all just one shot. It's just like, yeah, sit that down and it's such a weird shot.
Yeah.
And I think they did that on purpose to make it even more jarring than it is.
You know, I mentioned this in another breakdown, but I feel like I'm seeing the Pacha meme everywhere because this kind of looks like it too.
I also just noticed that Jarrett just has like hair coming out of his belly button, and I hate that. That just is gross.
And
I'm sorry.
Like, if it was just natural body hair, he doesn't have arm hair or chest hair or anything, that means he shaves everything but chooses to keep this.
I hate it. I hate it.
Did you just eat the baby?
Best line.
I thought it was a peace offering!
Their delicacy. That's what a peace offering is on my planet.
Makes sense why all the buildings look like cake.
Yeah, they're a whole planet that's just their entire society is run around like culinary delicacy. This is where Gordon Ramsay lives.
Gorman Ramsay?
Gorman Ramsay. Yeah, he came here to train to get his degree.
Eating babies is not cool!
Thanks, Ben. True life advice right there.
Also, Ben, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is the second time he's jumped down someone's throat this season. A lot of vor.
Why? That's a cool painted teeth shot, though. I really like that.
I feel like that this might be the exact same teeth painting from, what was it, Fool's Gold? Yo, it is.
It's the exact same one?
It's the exact same one. I swear, it's just flipped upside down. Honestly, it's pretty smart of him, though. Like, you know, this looks pretty complicated. I wouldn't want to draw this twice if I didn't have to. Ugh. Perfectly intact too. This man does not chew his food.
How dare you?
You ever broken a tooth?
No, and I have heard it is like the worst thing in the world.
It feels like it's a very specific kind of pain. Unless you've done it, I can't explain to you what it feels like. It's not fun.
This means war.
Him pointing is like, this means war. Like it.
Let me tell you something, Jared. I will knit your intestines into a sweater.
Egg. Yeah, see, they're here, like, in the nick of time.
Yeah, they just flew there.
There's zero reason Ben needed to be involved.
We wouldn't have got Wrath if not. That's
I guess so. This torso's drawn a bit funky here. It's like the stripes are overlapping the white part and everything.
It's a miracle.
Or negotiating a peace treaty.
Okay, so I get that, like, Ben being involved did create a peace treaty without having to sacrifice the Tiffin. But, like, in their perspective, if they wanted their plan to be executed with efficiency, they could have done it themselves. It's a good thing that Ben was there, but, like, I don't buy that he was the only one who could do this.
The point of Simple was that Ben couldn't actually stop a war or anything like that. This episode, he is stopping a war, technically.
Do you think if Ben had Wrath during Simple, then he would have succeeded?
Yeah, because he would have just went around punching the shit out of everyone.
It's like Simple, but he breaks the statue on purpose. He was like, that's your skulls if you don't stop.
You keep arguing over this thing? Did you know Jarrett was gonna eat the baby?
Well,
never talk to me again.
Bye, Egg.
That baby must have sent out some kind of interference that messed with the Omnitrix.
You knew? I wasn't sure exactly, but...
Why is he speaking so raspy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's a lot more like Brooklyn's like, well, I wasn't sure, but...
Let me tell you something, Kevin E. Leonard!
Okay, this is just a reused clip of him yelling at Jarrett.
Yeah? I was gonna say, like, he's suddenly in his night colors in this shot.
They just reused him screaming the, eating babies is not cool!
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure.
No, it is two different drawings, but it could be reused from a different shot somewhere in this episode.
I could have swore that it was a reused thing.
Even if it wasn't reused, it does seem like a random insert because like the outlines seem much thicker, so it's like zoomed in tightly.
And the background is like darker.
All right, that's it. There, Connor Wrath. We did it, folks. Now, I have a lot of good things to say about this episode, but we're gonna start off by only giving the plot a 3. Wrath really holds the episode together, but the plot itself is so random and coincidental, even for Ben 10 standards, which is saying something. Like, the incursions of all people show up to end a treaty that has nothing to do with them. They run into Vulcanus in the nick of time on a planet full of Tatanite, where Tatanite is also coincidentally the one thing they need to repair their ship. Even the fact that Wrath specifically is the alien that he unlocks. There's a lot of great action, humor, and new lore additions to the Ben 10 world. So this episode feels like a pretty great watch, and I have to give points where points are due. In a way, it feels like a celebration of the smaller things in Alien Force with how many characters return. But it's held together by such a thin storyline, while there's not really plot holes are the problem. It's just one big convenient coincidence after another, and it splits this episode right down the middle between being enjoyable but discombobulating. Characters though, I can give it a 4. Now, Wrath is certainly the star of the episode, but this episode does have a lot more characters than just the typical trio and villain of the week. But all of them do stand out from each other. I think this episode does fine balancing all the characters that are involved, and whether or not their presence makes sense, their inclusion is still in line with their general portrayals, and everybody is entertaining in their own way. However, due to the excessive amount of characters, they do feel like slightly watered down versions of themselves. I don't know, something about these characters just feels slightly empty to me in this one. Aside from Wrath though, I'm not throwing shade to Wrath, don't worry. Although I do want to note that as entertaining as Wrath is, he's the alien that least feels like Ben so far. So it's a little tricky to believe that Wrath is actually Ben when he transforms. The visuals in this episode are alright. Like I said, it's great showcasing a lot of supporting characters, and the different locations in this episode was a nice idea. But this episode still doesn't feel that visually striking. It seems like they were relying on the presence of the characters alone to carry the scene, but aside from them being there, it doesn't feel like much else is happening, despite the various trials they go through to get the Tiffin to Jarrett. Back in the day, I remember being a little off-put by Wrath's design, as he's the most regular, just straight-up animal-looking alien we've seen so far. And since his debut, he's become extremely iconic, and it's hard to imagine him looking any different. But I'm always a fan of the more stranger, alien-looking designs. But hey, I also made a blue rabbit for an alien, so who am I to judge? I wish we got to see more uses of Wrath's claws, and while we do get more of that later on, right now they feel kind of like accessories rather than weapons. But I really love the way the Tiffin is animated. It's very bouncy and morphable, but not being too liquidy like Goop. The way he reacts to gravity is just very fascinating. Now, a new alien isn't enough to automatically give an episode a 5 in importance, especially since Ben continues to randomly get more aliens for no reason the more you watch the show. But Wrath, being such a huge icon in the Ben 10 franchise, in addition to introducing us to the Luodans, in which the Tiffin becomes a fairly common part of Ben 10 lore in the similar vein strain of megawatts or even tatanite, I think this episode is well deserving of a 5. And entertainment, do I really gotta say it? This leaves Con of Wrath off with a 20 out of 25, and let me tell you something, that's a pretty good score. Now, this breakdown was one of the more complicated ones of the season. A lot of editing and research went into this one, so it doesn't really leave me with any final thoughts. So let's just tackle last week's poll. Out of all the returning classic villains in Alien Force, Vilgax takes the reign for the most popular favorite, but not exactly by a landslide. I also find it hilarious that I only listed Crab out of obligation, as he technically counts, and I felt like if I didn't put him on the list, you know, there's gonna be some folks that would call it out. But in doing so, Crab somehow got even more votes than Hex, who is a legitimate character, and that's just great. I'm so glad that Omniverse ends up redeeming him. For this week's poll, first off, let me be 100% clear, this is not how I'm going to decide how I do my full breakdowns. I actually have a post I can refer to now on exactly how I choose which episode gets a full breakdown, but the short answer, it comes down to whatever is most convenient for my schedule. But since I know the shorter breakdowns are disappointing to some folks, and for the folks that enjoy it, thank you, I really appreciate the support. But for this one and only time, I'm going to let y'all vote on which of the remaining 5 episodes I will give a full breakdown to, aside from the finale, which is obviously going to get a full one. Let me know your pick when the video goes live. I'm going to decide by Tuesday morning EST, because that's how much time I need to put this one together. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and as always, keep it fizzy.
When you're fresh as a daisy, with the whole world watching, I'm gonna prove, brother, that I can beat you anywhere, anytime. And all my Hulkamaniacs, they're gonna feel it too. But as Donald Trump hangs onto the top of the Trump Plaza with his family under his other arm, as they sink to the bottom of the sea, thank God Donald Trump's a Hulk.